Welcome back, everybody, to Running the Riffs coverage of the Collegiate League of Legends Championship for 2024 TDS. We saw a really awesome game one that looked like it was going to be the expected result. Winthrop winning. They had a pretty large lead, but the toughness and the grit of the Canadians up in St. Clair College shone through, and now they are the ones up in the series.
Hey, talk for yourself. I did say Sinclair was going to win 3 games, so I am so far in the right. Now I need Winthrop to win two, but to be perfectly right. But so far, so good for the sign of St. Clair. And like you're mentioning, the early game was really well played, but it's always coming down to certain moments where even if the goal is great, you have to look at how that goal is utilized and where it's going, right? And for a long part, yes, Denethor had a big goal advantage, and then it was Sword that had the bigger goal advantage. But then on the other side, it was Rockboom, and it felt like Rockboom after that one net never made mistakes. He just played so well, positioned really effectively, had long range poke to really follow up on the damage. And then the way that St. Clair played around it was really nice because they knew that they had to protect Rockboom, but they didn't throw away themselves just to protect Rockboom. Like they were waiting for the right moments, they were playing the map correctly, and they found perfect angles, working out so well in that first game.
Yeah, St. Clair seems to have a lot of problems playing around Rock Boom. They did last week
Yep.
specifically. However, they've really changed their fortunes this time around. This time around, they realized that, hey, this guy's our win condition. Let's play around him. Let's keep him safe. I have to say, we've given a lot of plaudits to Rock Boom, but we really have to shout out the rest of the team, right? Miracle had a lot of
Agree.
really good ultimates, had, some nice snares down on some priority targets. Obviously, Ricky LaFleur, we sung his praises a lot, but Maddie really kind of went under the radar that game. It's just Skarner is just so good because he gets to go through these walls, take these creative gank
Yeah.
paths, and really catch people out of position. Winthrop got punished on multiple occasions for poor positioning. And now going into game two TDS, who do you think is going to be the one to watch for on each side?
Exactly. It's going to be important to watch out for certain players here now going forward. I feel like Denethor is still the one to look out for because in the previous game we saw mobility maybe take a bit of a back step with playing the Jin. Not saying the Jin cannot be a carry, but when you pick carries, you don't think about Jin. You think about the Jinxes, you think about the Banes, champions like that really can shine through at the end. So maybe there's going to be a bit of a change in mindset in that regard. Maybe we see the Jinx coming back for mobility in this game and try and play more to that hyper carry style that Winthrop has been known to be to succeed with. Now, the Jin I don't dislike, but there needs to be much better hyper carrying on the other side of the map if you're going to go for that. And Denethor was shot down, and Wakao wasn't really performing to the level that maybe he needed to in this game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the team just didn't seem like it was very cohesive with Olaf as a champion, right? From a champion perspective, because you can see,
Yeah.
Winthrop, they have very solid team play, but it just was mismatching. We talked about it, how it's hard for him to really gank, so he just power farmed, but then he's the only one really going in first to start these fights. He's just getting blown up pretty quickly. Just
Yep.
it wasn't able to survive the onslaught of damage. I mean, that one fight near the jungle, the topside jungle of Winthrop was the one that I saw the most. I mean, it was just so much damage coming out from Rock Boom. They nearly blew him up in
Yeah.
an instant. And, I want to see him on a different champion, either a champion that has an easier time ganking that's going to hard carry, something like a Lee Sin, or on something a little bit more supportive.
Yeah, I would be fine if they want to go for something with setup like the Sichuani, the Sack, or the Jarvan. Like those can be really good tools. Or you can go for the Xin Jiao if you want to go for still something aggressive, but that has to also escape, right? Because
Mm.
one thing that the Xin Jiao provides with you is always that ultimate. The Crescent Guard gives you the safety plus a way to try and dissuade a team fight really effectively. So there's ways to try and make Wukao have a little bit more impact. I think that the Olaf wasn't necessarily a bad pick. Overall, the idea was right. The way of playing it was a little bit mis-executed at times, but it's also dependent on how well you do in the early stages. Because if Viola falls behind, then it doesn't matter how much resistance to or immunity to CC you have, he's going to get blown out by Rockboom anyway, and that happened multiple times. So maybe that change of idea can be what Winthrop is looking for as the second game starts with pretty similar ban as the Rumble comes through already.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Winthrop is going to aim more bands at the bottom lane again. This time they'll be the
Yeah.
ones to take out this Ash. I really actually liked the way Mobilities and Chucky stacked up to Rockman and Miracle. Obviously, there were some questions, right, about clutch factor and whatnot. Rockman certainly showed it
Yeah.
off, but they had advantages on Rock Boom in the bottom lane, and Maddie was the one who was able to actually save them. They have to at least have confidence that their bot lane can go toe to toe and can get advantages.
And so far, it's looking like they want to ban away Rockboom because two bans into the bot lane plus a Miracle ban. And if it's Lee Sin at the end, or Lee Sin no Barris at the end, then that's already a lot of focus towards the Saint side. Now, Lee Sin to close it up. I like that they are trying to take away from that early proactive factor like you were talking about with the Lee Sin ban coming through. And it could have been a nice commodity, no, a nice I forgot the word. I'm blanking on it. English
Commodity
is hard.
works there,
But
man. I got to be honest with you.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, you know,
if
it
that
is,
works, perfect.
Yeah, it works there. Don't worry about it. I do like the ban coming out with the Skarner
Yep.
because this is a champion that was banned away from Maddie on multiple occasions. And game where he got it earlier in the tournament, he was able to come out with a win. It has been one of the champions that he has been absolutely well prepared on. So good on Winthrop to take that one away. We are seeing the Varus get locked in. On the other side, it's Lucian. They love running these Lucian Nami,
Yep.
Lucian Melio lanes.
And I think that this time around Lucian Milio could potentially be a bit better, but the Lucian Nami here feels more into the pool of Winthrop. Yeah, makes more sense, gives mobility, the hyper aggressiveness to really try and dominate the bot lane like they were doing with the Jhin. But the difference here is that you at the very least have more outplay potential as the Lucian, right? Like the Jhin still is a fairly mobile champion, and oh, it's Maddie's Lily in the second game. We saw that last week, and he performed really, really well with this champion. It's not going to be the most active early on, but it is going to have crucial moments in the game, great damage, and the slip factor can be big as. Miracles, Nautilus, nothing to scoff at, not a bad option. Point and click for the Lucian works out pretty well.
Yeah, I really like these two picks from St. Clair. I'm a little hesitant to say, like, I love Maddie's pick here because, as you had mentioned, that early and mid game when he last pulled it out was a little suspect, but he was the one who engaged the game-winning fight. He saw the opportunity, he took
Yep.
it. Whenever you've got a player who can do that on that sort of champion, invaluable to have. Obviously, the Nautilus into the Nami. This means that there is power for the bot lane of St. Clair against the stereotypically strong bot lane for Winthrop. We are going to see Cassante come through. That's going to go over to Denethor. Denethor can just chill out on that champion and knows the correct targets to all out and really does become a problem. But it is interesting to see Winthrop shift away from him as like the main damage focal point this time around.
Well, the good thing about Cassandra is that you never know what he's going to be able to accomplish. You think that he's not going to do damage, and then one fight he kills 3 people. So
what's the copy pasta? You have it off the top of the head?
It's the Cassandra thing. I already got it memorized, kind of. So like I can try and bring it on here, but like I'm not against the Cassandra pick here. I will say I feel like this time around giving Denethor the counter pick wouldn't have been a bad thing, but they did that thing with the Kennen previously. So maybe it's thinking, let's give Sword counter pick, let's play with Sword in mind more, and maybe that can enable us a bit more this time around as 2 champions banned away against Sword with the Nico and the Orianna in mind. They taking away the Tristana in the mid lane potentially, and ooh, it's going to be the Kindred. So a little bit more carry potential for Wokao, having more late game value, but it is a champion that will not interact quite a lot with the enemy jungler if they don't want to. And also the ultimate, even though has a lot of great value for bursting, may get pushed away at some point. There is no pushing champions though. Maybe a Gragas at the end here.
Not yet. There's always a Zir, right? That is a sword special. We'll see if they opt to go for that as we're waiting for the final pick on St. Clair here. It is going to be a Ricky LaFleur special. He's going to pick the Darius into this Cassante, try and get that early pressure down, try and maybe get some early kills. And we know that even in the mid game, as Happy Hens in close quarters combat have been phenomenal.
Oh, Syndra. And Syndra to close it off from Sword, not necessarily a bad option. I think Syndra is undervalued quite a bit, but at the same time, there is more powerful mid lane champion, so it makes sense that we don't see her frequently. But this late game potential for Winthrop is not looking bad. They have good hyper carries, they have good late game potential, they have ways to stop the burst from coming through from from Riki, from Bakery Boy. This can be really nice, and that's why I'm kind of questioning a little bit of the decision here from St. Clair, not because it's bad, but because with the Kindred, you kind of lose some of the value from the Darius and from the LeBlanc. Because she can just dissuade that burst potential, and then it kind of makes it a little bit weird for some of the fighting here.
Yeah, it will be a little bit difficult. And there are scenarios where if you're in close quarters combat, Denethor can all out somebody out of the Kindred
Yeah,
ultimate, and all of a sudden, Elaine's Respite isn't going to help you out very much. You're probably going to go down and get a pretty free kill there. I do say, though, there is some burst potential on the side of Winthrop that will also potentially be denied if they don't time everything properly. The communication,
true.
specifically between Wakao and Sword, is going to be super important. But I mean, I expect these guys to have pretty damn near perfect communication. I mean, these guys are two best friends on the team, man. You know, they spend a lot of time together. So I'd imagine they got that deep synergy coming through. And
They have to.
more importantly, now there is CC for these lanes of Winthrop that allow
Yeah,
Wakao to be able to come in and make an effective gank happen, unlike game one.
exactly. There's multiple places that they can look through. I particularly would like to see Wokao focus on the top lane because if you shut down the Darius early on, his utility is not going to be that big. Like
Yeah.
his value for the game from behind is never going to be the same like a Cassandra, for example. So I would really like to see Wokao focus on that top lane, one or two visits up there to try and shut down the Darius, and then you can look elsewhere. That's perfectly fine. But really try and make it so that Riki doesn't have a good game, and then the rest of the map just simply snowballs by virtue of their champions.
Well, TDS, we'll see if that prediction comes to pass. We are into Summoner's Rift
Yep.
for Game 2 here between St. Clair College and Winthrop University. The teams have swapped sides. Winthrop on the red side, St. Clair up 1-0 in the series. TDS, do you think we'll see a potential lane swap come out here?
I'm thinking a potential level 1, and I hope we see this level 1 work out. Not because I'm against Winthrop, by the way.
Oh,
I just
no.
like level 1s, and I think that they are great to see. It's only going to be the word spotted. Yep.
Yep.
Really
And
nice that mobility doesn't get picked up here, but I really love to see these level 1s. Like, I've always been a fan of teams trying to get their advantage early on, and a great level 1 is always a great sign of coaching as well, because it's something that you can prepare.
Yeah, this level 1 idea here from Winthrop. I mean, it was just standard line of scrimmage. They do that pretty often, but you know, when your AD carry does not get picked off at level 1, you are always breathing a sigh of relief, especially when they send 5. So it looks like Winthrop will play the lane straight up as they are, which is pretty interesting. They're expecting Denethor to make something happen against Ricky LaFleur. By the way, has gone Flash Ghost. Nothing too surprising, though, because it is a Darius.
Yeah, the big thing here is that it makes it so that certain teamfight situations you have to have the Darius there, but apart from that it's pretty normal. You do want to have the Ghost to be able to follow on certain champions, especially with the distance or the range that Winthrop does have. You want to have some way to stick on top of certain champions, so it makes complete sense to see the Ghost here. And we're already starting. Mid lane was quite active in the previous game, and I want to see something similar this time around as well.
100%. I am interested to see how Bakery Boy, if he took anything from Sword's gameplay, right, and is like, okay, you know what? I liked what you were doing on LeBlanc because by all accounts, Sword had a fairly successful game despite the loss.
Yeah.
Bakery Boy can take a page out of his book. That'll be okay. And
Yeah,
even on the bottom lane, one thing I want to point out is no aggressive summoner from mobility here. So it makes this combo
maybe an early
worse.
level 1.
Yeah, Miracle
Level 2
is
gank
woke up.
already.
Flash, root, cleanse, hook goes down. Mobility ignited, but we'll be able to walk it out.
Respect the choice, it's 2 summoners for 2 summoners. Miracle still has the Hex Flash, but I like the idea to try and go punish mobility. Now, they did hit level 2 first, so it does make it a little bit more difficult to try and follow up on that. And it does give an opportunity maybe for Wokao to go inside of the blue side of the blue jungle and try and steal the blue buff from the Lydia. They are going to spot the Kindred here though.
Yep, spotting him out is pretty big because Bakery Boy hasn't made any indicator that he's moving over. Ricky LaFleur has priority as well. You can see Maddie starting to move up.
They are trying to maybe set it up. Here it is.
Tao is going to take some damage for it. He's forced to flash away. Does not secure the buff either.
They can go in.
They're going to try to go for it. Maddie flashes forward. Now Wakao is very low, is burning away, and has nowhere to go. It's first blood for Lilia.
And Maddie's Lilia is still running rampant here with another kill. And in the bot lane, in the meanwhile, Chuki's forced to flash away. Really good start already for St. Clair. Early gold lead, early advantage, and doing a really good job at putting pressure to Winthrop. Much different start compared to the previous game for them.
You can see there, Bakery Boy downloaded Sword. He knew that Sword was going to throw skill shots at the initial distortion point. Able to dodge out on a lot of damage. It feels like St. Clair is playing with supreme confidence right now.
And I really like this coming in from St. Clair, knowing that they can put the fight onto Winthrop. And sometimes there's teams that obviously think that maybe the other team can be a bit more difficult to deal with, so they put themselves on a mental block. But it doesn't feel like St. Clair is feeling like that, right? They are taking the fight onto them. They are understanding what Winthrop is capable of doing. They are respecting, but also putting a fight in the right manner. And it's great to see this from a program that is not necessarily as storied as Winthrop, right? It's a program that is taking the steps, but it's great to see them try to go toe-to-toe with a much more storied program like Winthrop.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a team that last year came out of what division was it? The NJCAAE, right? And
Yes.
it was just really relative small conference that gets one auto bid. They move up to the East. They still end up in first place with a couple of minute roster changes. I mean, Bakery Boy, who was the starter some time ago, was replaced by Akashi and then has come back and hasn't missed a beat. This team has been as good with Akashi as they've been with Bakery Boy.
Exactly. I would even say that it does give them a little bit of cohesion. Not saying that one is better player than the other, but the way of playing for the team changes with these players. So Bakery Boy bringing back or coming back into the team made it so that there was a tiny bit more cohesion, and it made the power ball of playing for Rock and playing for Ricky sometimes much more easy for them to execute. And it's great to see that they change divisions, try to look stronger opposition, and they are able to pull through not only winning there, but also growing as a team in a really effective manner. As they are looking for this first dragon, they have control of mid, control of bot, and they are pushing on to getting the objective first once again. And Ricky,
Ricky
he has no
find
flash of
himself
rose.
in a little bit of trouble as long as Denethor can stay at arm's length. Ricky going to heal up quite a bit. Tau burning away, but they will be able to take out Ricky LaFleur, give that kill over to the Kindred. Believe got a mark off of that as well.
Yeah, he gets the mark. Really nice execution there. We didn't see it, but Ricky blew both summoners way before, so it does mean that it's again coming in into the top lane and doing a really good job already, trying to pressure a point that we were talking about in draft. Shut down Ricky early on for allowing Denethor to have a pretty easy time in the top lane, but also because,
Bakery Boy has just been on top of things, knowing the strategy of Wakao, right? He loves to get into the enemy jungle. It's just another one going over to St. Clair. They pick him again.
I guess he really wants to follow on to what Sword did in the first game. Ooh, that's a lot of damage onto Rockland.
Took quite a bit there. Mobility and Chookies have not had the priority that we've expected, but still willing to fight there. Pretty big stuff. Smatty is going to just take the grubs up top.
And now they are looking for grubs as well. They are trying to take here the extra objectives, and this time around, much better control of the objectives coming in from St. Clair. Early advantage onto the dragons, early advantage onto the grubs. It's not going to be the whole set of grubs going in for Winthrop this time around, which is a nice change of pace. And now looking forward,
they're
trying
on
to
top
get even
of
more
Wakao.
control. Yeah, they really want to kill this Kindred.
Oh, he's gonna get slapped! No, he's gonna get dunked instead! Ricky LaFleur flexing his muscles in the jungle.
That was beautiful there, coming in by the two of them. They get the connection from Ricky, and then they get the connection with the ball from Maddie. This really shows nice communication there. Don't even need to use the sleep, and you end up giving the advantage that Ricky lost a little bit in that top lane back into their favor. Now, it is controlled still by Denethor when you're looking up there in the top lane, because it is getting the wave pushed, or at the very least frozen in a really nice spot. But at the end, getting that one kill for Darius, it's crucial to try and keep on pushing the issue there.
Yeah,
They're denying Walkout so much.
Yeah, the solo laners for Winthrop haven't been able to help out. And take a look at the minimap in their own jungle. There's absolutely no vision for Winthrop. They had no idea that that play was happening.
Exactly. It was just working out really, really well for them, and it's not a lot of attention that Winthrop can put through here, but it also comes from being able to push the waves, something we saw similarly in the previous game, right? When you have push in the lanes, you can just go in much more easily onto the enemy jungle, and when it's junglers like this that it's easier to kill because they're squishy, then you can just put pressure early on, try and collapse on them, and just get an easy advantage. Wakao now has Lamb's Respite at the very least, but he's behind the tempo from Maddie really heavily, and he's also not going to be able to get the mark from the top side because it's already getting pinged by both teams and trying to be controlled.
Yeah, we weren't looking at Grump just because we like it, but because it is marked and it is warded. We saw Denethor get in there, try to clear out vision, so Wakao may think that there is no vision in there, because they did miss the ward. He's hovering around this mid lane, which means he does have easy access to the Gromp if he wants to try to go get it. It would be a mistake.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of a risky fight here, especially with the control that they do have in the mid lane particularly. The damage from Bakery Boy at this point is going to stick through, and it's something that I wouldn't bet on trying to play around with. I really like also that they are delaying the mark taking, because that is going to delay Kindred getting any more marks. So it's much better for the side of St. Clair. They're going to take it now, but the longer you delay it, the harder it is for Kindred to get his the next mark.
And you can see Maddie just up so many camps right now. It's really been a good time for St. Clair. Although they haven't been able to get too much more recently. The gold lead still well within an amount that Winthrop could easily come back from, right? But I'm interested to see if this bottom lane pulls the trigger. They're both level 6.
They can try and force something there. They do have the damage to try and pull it off, and they also do have the ways to try and make it happen. Everyone has their summoners as well, so it could be an interesting 2v2 if they want to force it through.
Maddie said it
with the dragon spawning, yeah, they want to fight this.
They're going to go for it. Nami Wave comes out. Everybody dodges. Rock Boom rifling away. Still has Chains of Corruption available. Flashes. They're going to land chains onto the Nami now. Chuki's going to get chunked out. He still has Flash available, but he has run out of real estate. It is Rock Boom getting the kill.
It's funny how both supports end up with Flash, but it's Maddie, but it's Shuki's that ends up dying there, and that's the advantage of having the point-and-click ultimate. You may have cleanse, but it's not going to be cleansable that part, and then the follow-up is really easy to get through by Miracle. I also like the way that both AD carries flashed away, knowing that there was a chance for both of them to just commit the flash in that situation, because it could have been a 2-for-0 actually there. Oh, Maddie.
Maddie's stepping forward, but Wakao has some backup from mobility, means he's able to secure his own camp this time around.
Yeah, but with that collection of the ground, they are looking to maybe even steal the blue buff here.
Sword
they have vision of this.
Looks like
and there's no teleport for Sword, actually. So this could be just Scuttle Crab and Dragon.
Yeah, we'll see what St. Clair wants to do here. They have many members here. Flash Hook does not land on the target. Chookies, both of them actually going to get marked. They're both asleep. They're TDS. They're asleep.
Oh, he connects.
They're going to go down as well on top of it. Big double kill coming out from Maddie. They put him to sleep, man. It's a rough life if you're a Winthrop bot lane. Meanwhile, on the top side, Ricky going to get all outed. Denethor going to try to make the play happen. Dunk Flash. Ricky on the wrong side of the tracks. We're going to get a teleport in. Denethor going to go back in. He's got fully stacked leads. Flashing forward, able to get the kill, but Bakery Boy cleans it up, and St. Clair takes the drag.
One top laner gets the kill, gets a solo kill, the other gets an assist there with the kill, but it's advantage for St. Clair around. Even if Denethor is the only shining light here because he's actually the one that is winning the most, then you see the rest of the map, and then bot lane is being won by St. Clair so heavily. Maddie's doing an amazing job, and then they get the second dragon as well. It's going to be Cloud Soul, and luckily, which is not the best soul to try and just dumpster the game, but it is good for Lilia, for Darius, for the Bears. Having extra mobility can almost always mean something positive as a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, St. Clair with a 2,000 gold lead, and if you can leverage that gold lead around these fights for objectives, you'll be really happy with that. Wakao is very low, and here comes Maddie. He will hop out, so they'll be able to get 2 grubs back before going over the way of St. Clair.
They have to thank the fact that grub protected Wakao from, oh no.
Oh, they're going to make another play onto Wakao. He's just unable to find a way out. Lamb's Respite goes down. Sword can't help him out.
Too quick.
Wakao under the turret, knocked up, still alive for right now. And he burns away. The Lilia passive just a little too strong.
That has to be such a sad way to die, knowing that you're going to die, the burn coming in slowly, but you just accept it and take it. Oh, okay, they get red buff.
My red buff. That's still not great.
Yeah, it's not the best thing ever, and you still will have sleeps really soon. They can try and force something here with the sleep soon enough, but it's not going to look like that. They are just going to push the wave. Not much, but for St. Clair, this is pretty fine in the context of the whole game, right? You have Maddie really strong, even though Wakao has his first item, the Kindred doesn't have ultimate, doesn't have flash, cannot really provide any sort of support. And I want to check quickly, can we see the stacks from the Kindred? Because they've been doing a really good job at denying the marks. So Kindred probably at 2 marks at this point in the game. I would say 3 maybe with the kill from the top lane.
Yeah, was on 2 earlier. We'll see if we can get a stack check in a little bit. But TDS, I mean, it's just been a rough go at it for Wakao in the jungle, right? Maddie had a bit of a rough early game last time out on the Lilia in the last series. This time around, though, it's been completely different. A tale of two Lilias, right? 4-0-1. Seeker's arm guard as well to protect the stacks of Darksteel. I mean, just take a look at the gold differential, right? A lot of it is coming from the jungle position. It's 1,500.
And if you're going to play for a jungle carry, this is the sort of advantage that you want to have in your jungle carry, correct? I like this play though. They are setting up for a potential trap here. There is no vision. They know that nobody... Ooh, Maddie.
He stepped on a ward, so he knows something's up. Luckily, he was able to foil the plans here. Knockup coming through onto a priority target. Meanwhile, Ricky LaFleur on the side, getting a lot of damage down, taking a lot himself. Tidal Wave coming through, splits the gap. Blue buff eating the culling, but it looks like it will go over to Maddie. Another bubble coming out. Wakao is very low, and even lower. Bakery Boy is on his way. St. Clair looking to potentially engage. Bakery Boy distorting over the wall, and he takes out the jungler of Winthrop University. St. Clair make the play happen.
I was waiting for the 4-man sleep, but it doesn't really matter if you get the sleep or not. You get the kill anyway onto Walkout. No Lamb's Respite, no flash, nobody even covering on the side, and luckily there, and that is going to be peril for the side of St. Clair. I think they also got their own blue buff, so not even that going in the favor of Winthrop, and probably the story. They have the members and the grobs to push here. Okay, there.
Doesn't look like they'll drop the Rift Herald here. We're going to get certainly a lot of damage on that turret. And St. Clair, just utter domination this early game compared to the last one. Winthrop is going to have to pull a St. Clair in order to bring this one back.
Yeah, they have to find a great team fighting angle, and it's going to be... But this is one of the big issues that Winthrop is currently having this game, and they had in the previous game as well, but at the very least they had a way to kind of dissuade it with the long-range engage. You had the Ash Arrow to try and force things to happen, and also the Cannon Flag. This time around though, who is going to be your main engager? Is it Denethor with trying to thread with the W and the pullback with the Q? Is it maybe a sword stun on the side? Like, who is realistically going to be the one to force a play? They have to get creative with the plays, but the problem is that there's no easy way to make an engage happen, like St. Clair has with the Nautilus. You just press one button and you're forcing a fight already. That's the difficult part for Winthrop here.
It's been tough because St. Clair has played like a cohesive unit, right? Aside from their solo laners, just off on the side, whenever people are in transit, they are grouped up together, right? Miracle, Maddie, Rockboom in a very small triangle together.
Exactly, it's just like they have the really good tools to try and pull this off on the side of St. Clair, and long range engage, short range engage, they have tools to try and force it. And on the other side, it's much difficult to pull for this. It's not impossible, don't get me wrong. Like, if you find a good angle, or if you get vision in one of the bushes, you have control over there, and then you can force a fight to happen in that situation, then it's easy to try and blow a target and maybe follow through with that. But when you don't have the easy to pull go button, then it's much harder to make things work out as quickly as well.
Right, and Winthrop has been playing a little reserved here, potentially looking for some spikes of theirs, but there's not a whole lot of spikes to play for, right? You're waiting on Wakao to get 4 stacks. You're waiting on Sword to get the full passive of the Syndra for the extra ability power. But this is the strongest point that Lucian is going to be in this game, right? This mid game where he typically takes over, hasn't been able to do a lick of anything. And I mean, St. Clair has done a great job to repress everybody on the side of Winthrop.
Yeah, maybe 2 items with the rapid fire plus the static, that could be a bit more stronger for mobility. But we haven't seen really the mobility dashing in and trying to make the damage happen. Oh, double connect.
There we go. They're going to go double drowsy. Tidal Wave coming out. Miracle flashes through it. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. Bakery Boy coming in next. A souffle even Gordon Ramsay would love. It's a double kill for St. Clair as a whole. Meanwhile, Wakao chasing out Bakery Boy, but Bakery Boy is able to get away. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane, it's another kill going over for St. Clair. It's completely fallen apart for Winthrop.
Yeah, the cookie is crumbling. Bakery Boy is doing, Bakery Boy is doing so well so far. Actually able to escape there from Wakao, forcing the flash as well from the Kindred, and they are going to get the mid lane turret plus the top lane turret. Like, Ricky couldn't even join the fight because he doesn't have teleport. So it was just a 4v5 that they fight so well. And the 3 carries have yet to die this game. 3-0 for Rockboom, 4-0 for Bakery Boy, 4-0 for Maddie, and everything is working out greatly for St. Clair.
We're just going to ignore the fact that Ricky has died twice, all right? He's died 0 times in spirit, okay?
But he's doing his job in the side
Absolutely.
lane, and that's what we care about, right? Maybe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's putting on pressure. Winthrop is forced to respond, which means St. Clair can take even man fights or even fights with a man advantage. As they're going to look to take another one here. Sword is rooted up, pulled in, and Sword is gone. Ricky is even getting in on the party here. Flashing forward onto Chookies, and Chookies is just going to bleed out. Is enough? Wait, is the healing enough? Hold on. Chookies does not bleed out. The chocolate chips are melted, but not completely.
They are able to escape, but is escaping good enough? It's a real question. Like, at this point, oh, really gets hit. I'm just waiting to see. There's no sleep currently, but like the poke from that bowling ball, it's going to be really bothersome to deal with as well. And then you have Bakery Boy on the side that can blow you up. Like this.
Yeah, he's gonna try to blow you up. Look at the damage onto a cow. They're gonna be able to take down this turret. Rock Boom drops his ultimate, does not land it on a target, just for zoning control, right? As St. Clair, now up nearly 6,000 gold in this game, have yet to really make a mistake. It's been the most impressive game that they've played all tournament.
Yeah, honestly, so far it's been so crisp, and you have to give huge props this game to Maddie and Ricky. Because Ricky particularly, he has died, but the way that they pressured Woe Cow inside of his jungle, it's the difference maker here, plus Baker Boy actually, the top side. I'm going to include all the top side. They pressured Woe Cow so well, made this Kindred completely ineffective, and then you have this Lilia that is running around, dealing so much damage as a Lilia with the burn from the Leandris, and then denying the marks from the Kindred. This is going to be another mark that is going to get denied from Wolkow, and he has barely been able to touch the inside of the enemy jungle to steal those marks. I think currently he's at 4 marks, he should be at this point, finally, or maybe he actually is still at 3, I'm not even sure anymore.
Well, you'd hope so if you're the side of Winthrop. You need a miracle, you need it to come through fast. TDS, what's the path back for them, right? It's not over yet. Right? This game is not over. Soul is going to be up in a minute, but Winthrop needs to really find a way to get back into this game. Just a pick here, a pick there. How do you do it?
So, I think Winthrop should completely ignore Soul. Give it up. It's completely useless for you. Not saying that it's not a good Soul to try and play, especially for the side of St. Clair, but it's not going to be your win condition. You play off of trying to get Baron, and you play off of trying to get Elder. That's your win condition. But it looks like Baron is going
Only
to die.
3.
It has 3 marks.
Yeah, 3 marks, and this Baron's being done. Winthrop, they're going to need to do something here. No.
Okay,
it's got a lot of HP.
I thought it was going to take longer.
Yeah, St. Clair pulls off as well.
But this is the thing. Baron buff is what you care about if you're Winthrop. Why? Because Dragon is not going to win you the game. Baron buff is potentially also not winning you the game, but it's going to buy you time. And you want time for Sword to scale, for Wolkow to scale, for Denethor to get tankier, for maybe Validity to get a couple more items, and then fight for Elder. Because the Elder is really going to be the difference here. If Elder is in the game, you can maybe play for a 50-50. If you win the Elder, you can salvage the game. If not, it's going to be much more difficult. But this Dragon is completely meaningless for you if you're Winthrop, realistically.
It's just a means to an end, right? You just want to get that soul, so it's time for the Elder to spawn, right? And if you're St. Clair, utilizing your gold lead that you have to be able to really secure that dragon will be big things for St. Clair. They will get their Cloud Soul moving around the map at a breakneck pace, dropping ultimates and just zooming around. Sword unable to get this turret either. I mean, it's got an objective bounty on it. You really wish that you could have it.
It's unlucky there, but I think that was the right choice. Send Sword on the side lane, also Denethor if you can. Try and get the standing gold that is remaining. There is 2 turrets that you can take really easily. That top lane turret because it's the farthest away from the dragon, and then the bot lane turret because it's the first one to fall. So you have 3 gold that you can try and take there. Then after that, you can try and collect a little bit more gold inside of the jungle camps and trying to stop any Baron push, and then fight for the Elder. That's the call that I'm looking for here for the side of Winthrop. As far as for St. Clair, they have the tools to push the issue. They can play with the 1-3-1 and then try and maybe find someone inside of the jungle if they are careless enough.
Well, we'll see if St. Clair is able to pull the trigger one more time and really put this game out of reach. As Winthrop still finding a way to at least hang on. Their base hasn't been broken into quite yet, although they're
Oh no,
starting to
Maddie.
get close there. Oh, what's going
No,
on?
no, no. No, no. Okay, they are fighting here.
Yeah, Ricky is just going to go for it. They're going to try to take out Wakao. Lem's respite, if only for a moment. Maddie on the other side, though, goes down, but Bakery Boy blasts Mobility away. It is going to be a shutdown going over to Mobility, but now it's Cassante who's been hooked up. He may be real tanky, but there's a lot of members of St. Clair looking to take him out. Denethor going to all out, but he is the one who goes out. Sword going forward, manages to blow up Rockboom, but he dies for it as well. Chucky's the last one standing in a 3v1, and now St. Clair is going to break the base.
Yeah, they are going to look to push more into the base. They have the drops plus the damage from Ricky and Bakery Boy. And it's kind of unlucky for St. Clair there because, yes, they do win the fight technically, but Maddie, just before that, pressed the Sunjess button. So he actually went in without a Sunjess. He popped it by mistake before that and then went in. He gets to sleep onto Mobility and that's why they do kill the Lucian. But that could have been a much cleaner fight for them if Maddie didn't press the Sunjess button. It's fine, he's doing great. We're going to ignore that particularly for now.
Well, due to the shutdowns, St. Clair didn't gain any gold, right? Winthrop kept it at about 6,000 gold difference, but are able to at least get something onto their carries. Mobility's on 2.5 items at the very least. We saw Sword pick up a kill. He's on 2.5 items as well. Could be something that Winthrop could cook with a little bit here. Miracle does land the hook on the Mobility, forces the flash out of Ricky LaFleur as well. Mobility able to escape.
But it's flash for flash there. It's actually Mobility flash, so Bakery Boy now has even more incentive to try and get the solo kill there, when you think about it.
Yeah, and Bakery Boy, it'll just be all too easy for him. He has just had a really clean time this game. His yeast is rising. The baking is occurring. And again, St. Clair is still in a position of just one more fight.
Yeah, they're in a spot where one fight can be the end of the game, whereas for Winthrop, it's not going to be a difference maker unless they get the Baron buff after that fight. But it's going to take a little bit longer there. Dragon spawning in 240 could be a... Oh, Denethor. Okay, they don't know actually. They didn't know Denethor was walking there.
Yep, had no idea. Rockboom is now on his completed tier item. 3 full items for him. Mobility is going to be able to finish up his last Whisper item that Lord Dominic's regards, as it looks like the Baron has been started up. You can see with the vision toggle here, the ward was cleared out. So Winthrop knows this is happening. It still has 10k HP. Bakery Boy is splitting on the bottom side, does have teleport available. Baron down, 6,000 HP. Watau needs to somehow be the hero. St. Clair is going to pull off and allow Bakery Boy to continue the push out. Winthrop has to respond.
I love this so much. St. Clair doesn't need to do anything to force it. Bakery Boy has teleport, Sword has teleport, but he's over there trying to play with the team, and he's just going to get a free inhibitor. This is so well played coming in from St. Clair. Nice my play. Oh no!
Oh, Watau walked into a bush and a random Darius appeared, and he dunks right over his head, and Mobility is going to get dunked too. It's a double kill for Ricky LaFleur, and the 1v4, Ricky LaFleur, a triple kill, and that should be the cherry on top for St. Clair.
Oh, the sleep against Denethor. He may get... Oh, the poke is perfect there. I think it's going to be another one. Maybe fourth for Ricky. Oh, Denethor, give it to him.
Denethor will fall off to the side, or maybe he'll live. It doesn't really matter. St. Clair teleports in, and that will be the game. They pick off Sword. It's more for Ricky LaFleur as he flexes his muscles, and St. Clair go to match point.
It's going to be 2 games for St. Clair here, match point for them, and they are looking so strong at this point. Winthrop needs to find an answer because at this point St. Clair is looking poised to reach that next stage. This game was so well played by them. You have to give huge props to every member. So well done, really well, how to put it, really well prepped in general. They attacked the right places, they controlled the game perfectly, they didn't overcommit for things that they didn't need to, and it was so well done all around.
Yeah, St. Clair College is putting on a clinic, and in that game, it was crazy, man. I'm still shaking after that play that Ricky LaFleur made at the end, man. Just complete power coming out from the top laner who, in this game, was relatively quiet. He did what he needed to do. Everybody else on St. Clair got some shine. And finally, at the end, Ricky said, hold on, before we end the game, let me get mine.
Yep. And you know what, Jenny? I think we were wrong at the start with the content. We needed to make a head to head between Ricky and Rockboom to see who was the stronger carry of the team. Because at this point, it's a series to see who's doing better. Maybe I'd Baker Boy actually, because the three of them are performing so well so far, and it's really looking like they are not allowing their counterparts to do anything at all.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic series so far from St. Clair, but one team that you will never want to count out is Winthrop
I agree.
University. You know, this is a team that is battle tested, and while this season has not quite been the year that they were hoping for so far, they still have plenty of time to turn it around. It is still a long series,
Yeah.
right? Even though it's 2-0, all it takes is one, and all of a sudden there will be an opportunity. So St. Clair needs to be on their A game, but Winthrop needs to be on their S plus game. They need to be getting keys and chests, CDS. We're gonna take
Yeah,
a
we're going
very
gacha now.
yeah, we're going to take a very short break after a word from our sponsors. When we return, it'll be the Game 3 draft, potentially the final draft of the series. St. Clair leads at 2-0. Winthrop need to turn it around and fast.